everybody. My name is Eduardo Santiago, and I am the Art Society Coordinator for Idyllwild Arts. And this is IdyTalks, and we're in our, I think, third year of IdyTalks. And before I forget, because I keep forgetting, the first thing I want to do is I want to thank the Town Gallery for letting us have this event. So thank you, John, Rich, and Brighton. Millhouse. So what IdyTalks is about, as far as I'm concerned, is a way to not only feature the talent of our very talented students, but also to integrate the Idyllwild community with Idyllwild Arts. That's really a very important mission for me. So in order to do that, I bring the students here, and they take us on an artistic journey of their lives up to now. Of course, I mean, they could go any further. And what always surprises me is that for having such short lives, they're so rich in experience. It really is kind of an amazing thing to witness. Those of you who have been here before will testify to that. So tonight, we're featuring somebody who's really special to me. So I go to a lot of events at the school, right? Theater, visual arts, whatever. But I've only written one fan letter. And I wrote it to this young man after I saw him in a chorus line. Yeah, he gave this speech that really, really moved me, the way he performed it. But he's got other sides to him. He has many sides to him. So he's a comedian, and he's a four-year senior at musical theater, and a creator, producer, writer, and host. and only viewer of the Josh Thomas Show. So, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Thomas.
Hi everyone, my name is Josh Thomas. I'll take one more. Awesome, thank you, appreciate it. You know, they've all of a sudden been very interested in me this year. I've done two speeches in the past month. I had the Rotary just recently, so thank you, that was a lot of fun. And now I'm doing IdyTalk, so this is going to be a lot of fun. And I put together something about my life, and my life is, it's, you know, I always present myself as this, you know, happy-go-get-em, like, always energetic kind of guy. But, and everyone tends to think, he must have lived the perfect life. And for me, my life went exactly the way it should have gone. Because if it went any differently, it wouldn't take me to where I am right now. But I would say my life wasn't perfect. I went through a lot of challenges, and I went through walls. And there was times in my life where I was done and I didn't want to continue living my dream. But not once did I let that song and I continued following. And so yeah, that's good. But yeah, I did right here rather than tell you, but I just told you about me. So rather than tell you more about me, I'm going to show you. He told you I do a comedy talk show that apparently I'm the only viewer. We'll talk about that later. I put together a little montage of the past couple years of my show. It's been a dream come true. Enjoy.
What to do, what to do. What to do, what to do. I know what to do. How's the show?
Hi, my name is Josh, the host of the Josh Thomas Show. up. It's disgusting. You can't scare me like that. Yeah. Now let's see how hard it is to get back to the presentation. That was easy. Oh, come on, one more. Let's see, did we do it? Come on, yeah, one more, just next slide. Yeah. Coolios. Bam! Alright. Hi guys and guys, I'm from San Diego. Small little town called La Jolla. It's not that small, I just like to say small town because it makes me feel like a bigger deal. I came from a small town, but I didn't. But I went to a school in a small town, so I'm born and raised there. I lived there my whole life before coming here, so I've only lived in 2 places. I come from a mixed family. My mother, she is from Tunisia, North Africa, and my father... Support. My father is Irish American, so that makes this. I've been here 4 years, musical theater major. I actually started as an inner artist focusing in theater and violin. I played violin for the past 10 years of my life. I know, right? Shocking. Where are we now? Because I don't know what's next. Practice this. Alright, there we go. Now I'm just going to talk about, now we're going to start the story. Today I'm going to tell you guys, like I said earlier, about my dreams and how I got to where I am. How I let nothing stop me. And we'll just go to the next one and stay there for a while. Cool. This is my story. My whole life I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be a comedian since day one. And it wasn't really what part of my family wanted for me. It was, growing up, my father was always by my side on that, but my mother really wanted me to be a violinist. She wanted to go see me at Coakley Hall or the LA Phil, and she wanted to watch me sit in a chair with a nice posture and play the violin. But I could never tell her that it's nothing I wanted to do, and I went to the lengths of even majoring in something that wasn't what I loved here for a year. And can we actually go to the next slide? Oh, this was cute. Oh, the next one. Sorry, I don't know why I did that. This is child me. This is when I was cute. But yeah, so since day one, I knew who I was, and I knew what I wanted to do, and I wasn't really going to let anything stop me from doing what I wanted to do. You hear this when a lot of artists speak about their life. I was bullied growing up. It was hard for people to see a kid not being like every other kid. Every other kid went to school, did their thing, hung out with their friends. I went to school, was like, yeah, my name's Justin. I was always the high energy, the odd man out. I was never the kid who wanted to just sit at a desk for an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours at a time. I wanted to get up. I wanted to convince my class to just do group activities. I was really trying to do stuff, but no one wanted that. They wanted that, but a lot of people didn't want anything to do with me. So I was kind of pushed aside growing up. I never really got the same childhood as everyone else. That's why I said earlier, I might act like I had the perfect life, but I didn't, because growing up, it was rare for someone to come up to me and ask me to hang out with me. Or say, come to my house. I got that maybe once, twice, growing up in elementary school and middle school. And it made me jealous of every other kid. When I saw all the kids sitting at a lunch table, and I was at my own lunch table with one other friend, maybe on a good day. That was yesterday. But growing up, it was, I remember I looked at myself like, why are you doing this? Is it gonna pay off? Because if it doesn't pay off, you wasted your childhood. If being different doesn't pay off in the future for you, it's gonna waste your whole childhood of not being like everyone else and not having the same childhood as everyone else. But I didn't let that stop anything. I knew what path I was on, and I wasn't letting anything change that. I left elementary school. I went to a Catholic elementary school, and I would get sent home 3 days out of the week. There's only 5 days in the school week, so it's a good number of days. And it wasn't for reasons of cheating on a test. I wasn't a bully. I didn't steal things. I didn't really break any written rules. just rules that teachers wanted to write for me. And it was for being different. For being the high energy that walked into class every day, to mumbling a funny joke under my breath during class, and the whole class would laugh, and the teacher would be like, get out. Or if I just said, hey, can I go take a break? I can't sit here for that long. And I told him I might have ADHD. And if I heard a third grader today say I might have ADHD, that would hurt my heart. Because not knowing who you really are and what makes you you can really suck. And a third grader shouldn't know what that is yet. They should just know that they're them, and nothing else should matter, as long as you're being who you are. But my school didn't let that happen. They pulled me and my family. My mom was hardworking, and growing up, my family was really broke. My father was house to house, trying to find a couch for us to sleep on some nights. And my mom was at work 7 days a week. She would come home at 10 o'clock and I'd already be asleep with a babysitter. Because I never really got to spend as much time as I wish I could with my mom and dad, because they were always trying to do things to give me the life I wanted. And doing that, it missed out on the life I wanted. But today I realize that is the life I wanted because it brought me here. I remember one day, it was the most devastating day of my elementary school career. Talk about it like it's an accomplishment. I survived elementary school. They brought my mom in. She was in a client. They said, you have to come here or your kid's out of our school. And my mom thought I did something horrible. She thought I stole something, like I said earlier, bullied someone. And they come in and they're like, you know what your son did today? What? Your son asked for a break 20 minutes after recess because he couldn't sit down. They pulled my mom, they pulled my dad into the office, and they said, there's medication to make him not like this. In those exact words. They tried to force my parents and me to take medication to change who I am. They gave me an option. And they said, we're going to give your kid 2 options. He can either take medication and he can keep studying here, or you got to go. You know what I did? I left. My family, we didn't want anything to change me because we all knew that I was special in some way. So we went to a public school for a year, 5th grade, and it was worse. I remember one day a kid looked at me, he called me a freak and he punched me in the face. I was a 5th grader. How do you react to that? I was yay high, yay thin. There was no self-defense. I just kind of took it, because that's what I grew up learning what to do in elementary school, is just take it all in. I never told the teacher anything. The teachers would never call on me if I had my hands up. They would never let me participate. Even if I wanted to, even if I feel like I had the answer in my head, they didn't let me. Because they thought it would be a joke coming out of my mouth. If they thought I would just say something that would be so far off wrong, they don't want to embarrass me. But I kind of just lived it. And then we found a school called Kappa, Creative Children Performing Arts Academy. And I said, oh, a performing arts academy, everyone's going to be like me. This high energy, it's going to be where I belong. And then I was like, did I find the place where I belong yet? At 6th grade? First day I got there and I realized no one liked the arts there. Everybody was going there because no one else liked the other schools. So it was just academics, oh, I have to go to acting class. Oh, I have to go to drawing, I still hate drawing, but I have to go to drawing class. No one wanted to do it, except me. And so I walked into acting class the first day, I was so excited, and everyone was like, head in their hands, on their phone, whatever. And I was like, oh, wait, why isn't everyone excited? I thought this is why we're here. But no one else loved it. I knew I wanted to act, but I didn't know how to start. So I kind of just auditioned, and I was the only person that wanted to do it, but I had the same problem. The teachers thought I was too much. I was never the right amount for any teacher in my life. So that at that point, no teacher accepted me for who I was and what I was doing. They all wanted me to be something different, something more, something less. It was, Josh, give me more. Josh, less. I need more of this, less of this. Josh, you're not doing what we need you to do. I never heard, Josh, you're perfect, you're fine. You're good. Just do what you're doing. Never once growing up did I hear that. And I remember one day I was at a drawing class and I was working and I kept erasing and then I stopped because I was getting so frustrated because it's not something I knew how to do, but the teacher just kept pushing. I was like, I'm not good at this. But I like that. He kept pushing me to do it. And then one day he looked at me and I told him I wanted to be a comedian. He goes, you're not going to be anything except a sideshow clown. And I was like, well, that kind of sucks. Like, how much do they get paid again? And I kind of left the classroom. I said I'm going to go on a bathroom break. But my bathroom break growing up was going in the hallway to cry. Because I didn't want to tell my parents, because I didn't want to make it a big deal. Because my parents were working to support me. And then the next day, the same teacher, I told him that I told the principal. I was like, I told the principal, he said I didn't like it. And he was like, you're useless, get out of my classroom. And for a 6th grader to hear that they're useless is the worst thing you can say to a kid. Calling a kid, just kidding. Calling a kid useless at 6th grade, most kids would just, I don't want to say that, I would never want a kid to hear that and accept it. I would want a kid to hear that and take it, appreciate it, and let that push them more to not be that. Because my goal was to impress everyone else. I was never trying to make myself happy growing up, I was trying to make everyone else happy. At that moment, 6th grade, I knew it was comedy that I wanted to do because after I was done crying in the hallway about teachers saying, it was more teachers in middle school, teachers giving up on me. My math teacher was sitting with me at my desk once and I just wasn't getting the simple addition. It was like 1 + 1 or something. And I just wasn't getting it. And she put her pencil down on my desk. She goes, I give up. Do it yourself. She got paid for teaching me, but I guess not. So it was a lot of just giving up. The only people that were there the whole time were my parents. But I never told them all the school challenges I was facing. I just told them what I wanted to do. And I remember I told my mom, Mom, how much do you like when I play violin? She said it made her the happiest mom in the world. So I wasn't ready to tell her it's not what I love. And then there was just so many obstacles. And I remember after I was finished crying in the hallway, I would actually go take a bathroom break. And I would pull out a little notebook and I would write jokes about what I was crying about. I was always writing jokes. They were bad. They still are bad. But they were jokes about what I was going through. That's what comedians do. They take the things that aren't going so well for them and they turn it into comedy. And that's what I was doing growing up. Can we go to the next slide? This was the kid who came home from school every day crying. But as soon as I was home, I felt like I was happy because there wasn't anyone to say no to me. I didn't tell my mom I was like, I want to pursue comedy in my life. Because that's like a 3rd grader saying, I want to be an astronaut. It's a dream, but parents won't take it seriously yet. Sometimes. So I show people this to this day sometimes. Like, look, I was never different. I'm still like, I still do that. I still do all this, and it's funny, because you look at this kid and you would never think that this kid earlier in the day was crying in the hallway. Because this kid put a mask on. This kid wrote jokes about what was going wrong, and that made him happy. There were so many obstacles. My favorite teacher in the world in middle school told me that she gave up on me. She was the one person I had in middle school that I knew would never give up on me. But she looked at me and said, I can't, I give up. Put her hands up and walked backwards. I remember the principal, she came into my classroom one day and she goes, can you come talk to me? my parents weren't even there yet, and they printed up all these documents about what medication for ADHD and ADD can do. I don't know what all this means. Now I'm in 7th grade at this point. I don't know what all this is. All I know is I'm just being who I am. I'm not doing anything on purpose. I'm not trying to be extremely annoying. I'm not trying to be loud and obnoxious. I'm not going out of my way, out of harm, to be like, let me go annoy everyone and make them so pissed. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just living who I am. The worst part is, not once did I go to a doctor and get diagnosed with ADD or ADHD. They all just assumed, so did I. But the biggest obstacle that I faced in my life was one I did not think I could fight. I was diagnosed in 2012 with the worst part of my life, is what I call it. I had RBF, it's called rat bite fever. It was one day after school, I was watching videos of like these really cute rats and mouses and like just playing in wheels and stuff, and I was like, hey, I want one of these. And I was crying earlier, and that made me laugh, and I was like, okay, let's go. So we got one. We got a nice cage. It was the sweetest thing in the world. And I remember one day I tripped over the cage, and I heard squealing, or whatever, however rats squeal. The rat's hand was stuck in the cage, so I reached in to help the rat, and the rat bit me right on the thumb. Thought nothing of it, except rabies. But we knew it didn't have rabies. They told us it wasn't going to have rabies. We trust them. So my dad just cleaned it with alcohol, the rubbing alcohol. Wrapped it in gauze, and we went on with our day. And it wasn't until about a month later, it was at the beach, where I started getting, I got really cold. And I was like, is anyone else cold? It's like 80 degrees, why am I cold all of a sudden? I was in the water, I was just hanging out at the beach. Thought nothing of it. And then the next day it was time for school. I was kind of feeling sick, but I didn't want to tell my parents because I didn't want them to take a day off work. So I went to school, sitting alone, and I kind of put my hoodie up, and this girl named Mia looked at me, and she was like, Josh, you don't look so good. I was like, what do you mean? Because I was still kind of acting like the Josh that I am. And all of a sudden, I kind of felt something in my stomach, and I blacked out. An hour and a half later or so, I wasn't really timing when I was blacked out. I woke up, and I just saw, it was like in a movie, all the people in the office looking over at me. They called my parents, and I thought I just had a cold or flu. I went home, and I kind of stayed in bed the whole day, because not only did I not want to get out of bed, but I feel like I couldn't get out of bed almost. So I just laid in bed all day. My mom was helping me the whole time. And the next day I tried to get out, and I just collapsed on the ground. I couldn't walk. My legs weren't working, my arms weren't working. I was really confused. And then one day, I just remember feeling really dizzy, but not pass out dizzy, just dizzy. And I looked up, and everything started changing colors. I remember I started seeing smoke, almost like a hallucination. I knew something was wrong. I didn't want to say anything though. So I just told my parents, I'm fine. I was not fine. The next day, my mom came into my room, and I was looking like this. And that's not the way. And this is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that wasn't normal for me. At that time, I'm already up. If it's dancing in my room, playing karaoke with myself, or doing card tricks or magic or something, that was never who I was. So my mom knew that was wrong. We went to the doctors, and we did a blood test, and they said, oh, he should be okay. He probably has something like hand, foot, mouth, because I had all these dots all over my body like chicken pox. Then about 20 minutes after we got home, my dad got a phone call, and he comes into the living room with tears in his eyes. I said, Dad, what's wrong? It's nothing. He didn't want to tell me. Then I hear whoop whoop. There's an ambulance pulled up. And my dad said, just go with these people, everything's gonna be okay. He didn't tell me. For me, I was like, hi, I get a ride in an ambulance! Yeah! But I was like, what's happening? So they put me in the ambulance, and at this point, I couldn't walk at all. My dad had to carry me in and out of a bathtub. I was in a wheelchair, I couldn't walk. Everything just felt like it wasn't there. So I go in the ambulance, and I get to the hospital, and my dad goes, I don't know how this happened, what is it? What is it? And he's asking me, I was like, I don't know. Well, I don't know. And we looked to the doctors and told the doctors, so the doctors left the room for a second. My dad just wanted to be with me for a second. And my dad looks at me and he goes, "You're really sick." I said, "What do you mean?" And then he told me what I had and he goes, "The little rat bit you and he gave you this little thing. It's a bad thing and it's eating all your good things." And I said, "What does that mean?" And he just said, "Just stay strong, okay?" And I know how to use an iPhone. So I looked up what it was, because my dad told me what it was. You guys, it's called rat bite fever. I was like, okay. And fever made sense, because my fever was 104 degrees when I was at the hospital. That's like dead. That's like a lot of degrees. And I looked it up, and I remember reading the scariest thing I've ever read in my life. 200 cases of this ever recorded. 187 of those cases died. Everything started hitting me at once, and I remember the only thing I asked myself was, am I not going to be able to live my dream? I was the outcast my whole life for this to happen. I was the outcast, now I'm in a hospital bed. That's not the way it should be. So I said, there's no way this can be happening. It has to be fake. And the doctor came in and he goes, and I was like, so what's happening to me? And he was like, you're gonna be okay. You just have a bad heart. I said, what do you mean? He goes, you have a big heart. And I was like, well, I know. He was like, your heart's just bigger than everyone else's. And I was confused what that meant. And he meant, physically, my heart got bigger. This disease gets in your heart valve, expands it, and then you have a heart attack and die. The only thing that can stop it is penicillin. So they gave me the surgery right here. And they put a tube about that big, like that wide, in my arm. It was about this long. It went in, through a lot of my major organs, into my heart valve. And it pumped penicillin into my heart every hour, and it sucked. Like every morning, I just remember at 3 a.m. hearing a beep, and then a nurse putting stuff in my body. And I was like, I avoided this. I didn't want medication. But this was the only way I was going to be able to live my dream. One day they told my dad, they pulled my dad into the room and they said, there's a chance your son isn't going to make it. We're going to do one thing. We're going to pull the PICC line out. We're going to put him asleep. And two things are going to happen. Either he's going to wake up, or he's not. So my dad held my hand. My mom was holding my other hand. And I was able to walk at this point. I was getting my walking back. And my mom, for the first time, saw me. She saw me in the drawing room. And she took a picture of me and I was smiling, but I was not feeling good. I was getting these cramps in my chest and I knew something was wrong. But it was this moment right here. I started writing jokes about it. I'm writing jokes about it on that piece of paper. I remember one of the jokes was super stupid. It wasn't even funny. I just wrote, you know, some kids don't think I'm nice, but jokes on them, I have a bigger heart. Like, it wasn't even funny jokes. It was just stuff that's going on. And then finally, this lady, she puts me asleep. That's the last person I saw before I went to sleep. No one told me I might not wake up ever again. My dad just told me I was going to sleep for either a long time or a short time. Both my parents had both my hands. The last thing I remember was seeing her and letting go. Went to sleep. My dad told me they just waited. An hour later, there wasn't supposed to be anything. They said after 30 minutes, if there's nothing, there's nothing. They thought I was gone. And all of a sudden, the screen started going like that. So in my mind, that's when I woke up. That's the face of someone who should be dead. But I'm not. So I remember thinking to myself, okay, I had this weird childhood in elementary school, middle school. I had all this stuff going on. there has to be a reason why I'm still here. It's not a coincidence that I'm still being exactly who I think I should be. So, there was a school, my 8th grade year, that my teacher told me about. And it was the one teacher that she was in that year, and she saw how the way the other teachers were treating me. I came back from the hospital after 2 months, and I walked in, and I still didn't have the best mood, but I walked in like this. Everybody knew what happened. The teacher looked at me and she said, "Sit down." Not a welcome back, not a hug. Sit down. The teacher pulled me aside, the other teacher, and they said, "There's a school I want you to look at. It's called Idyllwild Arts." And I was like, okay. So it was a boarding school, and I was like, am I ready to do this yet? Let's hope so. So I applied to this school, and I remember I was coming back from a water park with a couple friends, and they said, "Hello, hi, this is Idyllwild Arts Academy. We'd like to let you know that you're in." And at that moment, I knew that everything else I want to do in my life is possible. The second I found out about that school, I knew it's something I wanted to do. But I was really nervous that it was going to be like the first day of my first art school. I didn't know much. I thought I was going to get there and everyone was just there because there was no other options. I didn't know it was a school filled with people who are so passionate about what they do. So I got there the first day, and I was like, I walked on campus and I took a break. I was like, wait, Josh, you have 2 options here. Are you going to do what you've been doing your whole life? Are you going to be the outcast and sit alone every day? Are you going to be that quiet and hide your personality from everyone else? Or are you going to be the person who sings karaoke and dances and writes jokes and is who exactly they should be in their room? Are you going to be room Josh, or are you going to be school Josh? At that point, I said, I'm changing. Right here, I'm going to be a different Josh. I'm going to be me, the Josh that I show myself. I walked in, I went, "Hi, Josh Thomas, nice to meet you. Hi, nice Josh, nice to meet you, Josh Thomas, hi, bye." Okay, my goal was to know everybody by the end of the day. There was a line of people, and I was like, "Hi, what's your name?" "I'm Josh." I know. I pretended like I was this big celebrity, but no one knew who I was. I was like, I know, woo, please, no biggie, just Josh Thomas. And everyone was like, oh my god. Who is this freak? And there was a selected people who were like, oh, I can deal with this. You were one of them. It was our freshman year. This is Hannah. Stand up for a second. She was here for 4 years. She was... This is Hannah. She was here for... Yeah, give her a round of applause. Why not? She was one of the few people when I was here as a freshman who wanted to deal with it. Who wanted to deal with this whole Josh persona. Can we go to the next slide? I don't know what's next. Okay, we'll just... Yeah, we'll get ready. There's some videos. There was the Josh persona. It was this big, loud, annoying, so much to deal with. And yeah, a lot of the teachers were fed up with it, like right away. But none of the teachers gave up on me. The whole time, they were there to show me love, to teach me, and to show me what it's like to feel like an appreciated student. I was never the best student. I'm still not. Everything when it comes to school is hard for me. If it's math, if it's history, if it's writing an essay, everything's hard. And then I walked in to the dorm, and I was like, "Hi guys, I know, warning, I'm a lot to deal with." And yeah, they were annoyed by it by the end of the year, but they still somewhat cared. Yeah, they're like, "Oh my god, you're so much to deal with, but I love you so much. Thank you for making me laugh." And I remember, it was the first time I've ever heard it. It was my freshman year here. They said, "Thank you for making me laugh." And I was like, "What?" "Yeah, no problem. What I do." And I was living it. And I tried to live this perfect life. And then I stopped trying. because I was living the life I wanted to live. My sophomore year, I came back, and I was like, "Hi everyone, hi again, it's Liam." I'm dumb, I know. But the funny part is, people actually recognize me because my freshman year, I did something that put me so out of my comfort zone. I don't know why I did it, but I don't regret it. Because if you know who I am, and if you know me personally, you know me as, what is it? Can you just say it? Josh Thomas from the Josh Thomas Show. My freshman year, I grabbed the desk and I grabbed the couch and I said, okay, we're gonna try this thing called a talk show. That's what I want to do. I want to be a comedian, but I don't want to be like a stand-up comedian. I want to sit at a desk. I want to interview people. I want to make fun of myself. I want to make fun of them. So I grabbed the desk, I grabbed the couch, and I put like 8 chairs out. Like 3 people showed up. You were one of them still. It was you and like my parents. And I just felt so happy by the end of it because people came up to me. They're like, "Hey, you're good at this." Another thing I've never heard before. You're good at this. Thanks. So I didn't stop. I started making funny videos. I did it throughout the whole year. And I continued just putting out 4 or 5 chairs out. I started building up a little more. By the end of the year, I had a max audience of 6. It's better than 3. It's like, what, double? And then sophomore year, I made this video my freshman year of Day in a Life at Idyllwild Arts Academy. And all these new students were like, "Hey, you're the kid from the video." "Oh, yeah, I know, big deal." "That's me. Josh Thomas." And people were like, "But oh, I saw your show." "Yeah, I do in the free time." It's kind of a big deal. And I kind of built this persona of like this guy who pretends like he's famous, does this talk show, does these videos, kind of separates himself in a way that like does this other thing that no one else does. It's kind of his thing, so don't try to take it. And people started to accept me for it. It was nothing that people looked down upon. It was nothing like, oh my God. Except for when I would talk about it for like an hour at a time. But it was still something that no one was like, "Ew, stop!" Like, no, stop trying to follow your dreams. Even people that didn't like it were still wanting me to continue doing it. No one wanted me to stop because every day at the end of the day, people would always tell me, "I think you're going far." I was like, "Whoa. Yeah, I know, it's no big deal." Thanks, I know. So I kept doing this thing, and I didn't know what to call it. I knew it was a talk show, but what did I call it? It's a kid. It's a senior coming out to me now. It's this kid in high school just doing this thing that's not his major. His major is doing violin and theater. Sophomore year, I went to my mom, and I was like, "Mom, I don't want to do violin anymore." "What do you say?" I said that I don't want to do violin. One more time, I didn't get that. English isn't her first language, so it was hard for her. And then she was like, "Did you say you don't want to do violin anymore?" And I was like, "Yeah." This is awkward, but I want to be a comedian. That's it. And I thought she was going to be pissed. But all she did was hug me. Because at the end of the day, I lived the perfect day if I made one person laugh. You might see me in the morning for people who go to school with me. You might see me in the morning, sometimes in the morning, I'm super high energy when I walk into breakfast, but sometimes you might notice I'm a little like, slow, hoodie up. That's because I haven't made someone laugh yet. I'm gonna take a leap. I'm gonna put out 80 to 100 chairs. Because why not? I'm gonna ask for this big hall, and I'm gonna ask a few people to help me put a band together. So I got 6 people to play a late night band for me. I got an announcer to announce my show for me, and I got a beautiful set. That's a little photo from it right there. And a teacher. Teachers always scared me because teachers were the ones who never believed in me growing up. So I was always still scared of them. But a teacher helped me. And they helped me with all of this. They gave me lights. They painted a desk for me. And then I did it. And there were so many people there. I remember it was exactly, I don't know exactly. But I know at minimum there was 80 chairs. And people were lined up outside. There was a row on the wall, a row on the sides, and I peeked through little people backstage, and I kind of turned around, and I just cried. This is gonna make me cry. And I remember I just went, if I stopped ever, I wouldn't be here right now. I knew what I did was exactly right to be where I need to be. And I said, all these people, they came here because they believe in me. And they love me to a point where they're going to help me follow my dreams. And I looked in and I looked at each face, and under my breath I was like, thank you very much. And I tried to like collect my tears together, and I didn't show anyone. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm just gonna be right here. And someone comes in, they're like, hey Josh. And I was like, come in. And they're like, and I thought it was gonna be bad news, like something's not working. Because that's how my life went. Something wasn't working. It was my heart, it was my math skills, something always wasn't working. And they go, we don't have enough seats. And I just like closed. And I was like, we don't what? No way. Come on, I know, no big deal. What do you mean? Are you being serious? And they said, yeah, we don't have enough seats. And I was like, that's amazing. And then I walked out, and they didn't want to tell me how many people were there. And I walked out on the stage, and I kind of took a second, because my mom was in the front row with my dad, and they were like this, just waiting. And I was like, oh my God, it felt so real for a second. It felt like I was hosting America's Tonight Show for a hot second. And then let's replay the moment. You guys are going to give a big applause. Okay, so the guy went, and here he is now, it's Josh Thomas! I was like, thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the show. And I just stopped for a second. If you watch the video, you can see it cuts. Because I stopped, and I was like, okay, I'm trying to get everything together. And I was so nervous. I did this like 20 times. If you look at the video, I unbuttoned my jacket 20 times, like 21 maybe, 22. So many times, because I was so happy, but I was on camera, so I could go like this. It's okay. Something's not working. Just kidding. I was so happy. Like, I think about it now, and every time I think about it, I get like this little sweat. Because commercial break, I went to the desk, and people were like, are you ready for the next sketch? And I was like, this feels so real. Whoa. And I told that to someone, and I told the person who's stage managing the show. I was like, this feels so real. And they went, it is. And I went, you're right. And that's why that commercial break was so long. So if you were there, sorry. Because she came up to the desk, and she was like, you did this. Good job. And I sat with that for a second. It is real. It wasn't something that's almost real, because it's actually happening. Yeah, so when it's on TV. But still, it was actually happening. At the end of that day, I went home. And my grandfather passed away before I was born. And he left a note for my family. I know he's going to be a little star. I kind of looked at that note. I kind of cried a little bit. Because that day, I felt like a little star. I said, you know what? I have an idol. His name's Conan O'Brien. I know. You guys probably don't know who he is. Just kidding. Conan O'Brien. And he's been my idol my whole life. And I met him Monday. I don't want to try to play the video because I don't know if it's going to work. But can we try to hit that video? Yeah. This happened to me one day.
For the audience? Yeah. And what's your name? Josh Thomas.
My name is Josh Thomas.
Is it called the Josh Thomas Show?
Josh Thomas Show.
Incredibly original. I wanted my show to be called the Josh Thomas Show. I said, you had that name.
Yeah, sorry.
Fuck you. Hey everybody, you're watching the Josh Thomas Show. This is Conan O'Brien, and check it out. Yeah.
That was when all my dreams. That's when everything felt real. Every time I look at that, I went, no one paid for that to happen. That was me just following my dreams, and it's just working out. And I said, I'm not going to leave this at school. I'm going to bring it home to La Jolla. Let's show the rest of the people that know who I am what I can do. So I reached out to another one of my comedic idols. Her name is Chelsea Lynn. I just sent her an email. I knew nothing would ever happen of it. 2 days later, she said, I'll be there. At my show? I'll be there. She called me. She goes like, hey, you seem confused. You asked me twice if I was going to be there. I was like, oh no, just typos. You'll be there, right? She's like, yeah. What's wrong? Why are you like stuttering? I was like, no, stub my toe. She didn't have the phone out. Ah, oh my God, I freaked out. No way. I just literally spoke to God, practically. I was like, I've been watching your videos. Like, I didn't, like, as soon as she hung up, I pretended like she said, I was like, I've watched your videos like 10 years. I love you. Oh my God. And then she showed up at the studio and she said, you ready to rock? And I went, yeah. Let's do a show. Here was a trailer from that show. It's going to be this one right here. Yeah, that one right here. I signed a whole poster that day, guys. I signed something that day. By the way, I will sign all your programs. I'm not kidding. Programs, I'm just Josh packets. I heard you say that. Everything felt super real. And then I realized, I looked in the mirror one day and I said, I'm so proud of you. You did this. No one held your hand. You. My senior year, this year, my next goal in life was to get into college. And my dream college for the longest time was Columbia. And I knew it was a 9% acceptance rate and it wasn't gonna happen. All my friends were like, it's not gonna, oh, it's gonna happen. I mean, it's gonna happen. Only one of them said it wasn't gonna happen. And I was nervous for a whole 3 weeks waiting to find out. I know, a whole 3 weeks, that sounds like, it's nothing, it's only months. And I knew it was gonna be validation almost. It was gonna be another check in my life. First check, meeting Conan. Second check, having Chelsea Lynn on my show, doing my show, getting into this high school, being accepted, teachers actually caring about me. Getting into college, wasn't checked off yet. I wanted to major in comedy writing and performance. And I got an email one day. And I opened that email and it said, congratulations, you're in. Congratulations wasn't something I heard a lot growing up. And to hear it from someone who's never met me before felt so good. So now I know that I'm going to be able to go live my dream for another 4 years. And I'm going to go to Columbia. And I'm going to show them the Josh Thomas they deserve. All my dreams came true. All my dreams that can come true right now came true. Everything I wanted by the end of high school. Do a show. Have people like it. Bring it back home. Meet my idol. Have another idol on my show. Get into college. Have my teachers accept me. It all worked. Teachers went out of their way to write me letters. Jen Murdoch, right there. That's my math teacher. She went, give her a round of applause. Oh, I love her so much. I'm really bad at math. And earlier you guys told me how my math teacher put a pencil down and said, I'm done, and stepped away. Jen never did that to me. She was there for me every time I had her, every class. And I didn't know if it was because of her job or whatever it was, but she wrote a letter for me to get into college. She cares so much that she went out of her way to help me make my dreams come true. She did it for me. She didn't have to, she did it because she wanted to. My dreams are important to other people, which is something I never thought was going to happen. So many teachers here believe in me. So many students here believe in me. Oh, thanks. And staff. I'm just kidding. And that's not something I had. People wanted my dreams to come true. Yeah, some believe in me, but I got here and everybody wanted my dreams to come true. I walk into town now and I meet people I've never met before, and they can instantly tell them I'm a comedian. That was something I've waited for my whole life. For someone to look at me and know what I am. 10 minutes into a conversation, someone can look at me and be like, can't wait to see you on TV. So many people at the school say that to me, and I'm just like, thanks. But in my head, rat pipe fever comes back into my head. Not being accepted comes back into my head. All the people who said, no, you're not going to do it. I'm done with you. I give up. All that comes back into my head and just vanishes. And then all that starts to fill up. So much of my brain was filled with all this negativity from other people, and Idyllwild Arts made that disappear. And now I have a family who I know will always be there for me my whole life, no matter what it is. They'll always believe in me. My name's Josh Thomas, and that's my story. Thank you, guys. I just stopped. What do I want and I love it! All right, that's all you want.
So, Josh, I am so proud of you. Thank you so much. I have yet to sit through one of these things without crying. This school has turned me into a mess. Great job. So thank you guys so much for coming. No, we're good. Thank you for coming. We're going to have another one in January, and then once a month with amazing young people that can teach us so much. Didn't you just learn a lot tonight? Wow. All right, that's IdyTalks. Hey now.
I'll still sign programs.
He needs to sign programs.
Let me sign your programs.
Please, let him sign your program.